In my childhood, I grew up with Inspector Gadget, Transformers, Inhumanoids, Muppet Babies, Thundercats, and a couple of shows from the 1980s. In 1987, there was a certain animated series that we all known to love, and that would be none other than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Back then as a kid, when I heard the title name Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I was thinking to myself, are they teenagers who transform into mutant turtles with multicolored headbands and possess ninja fighting powers or something? I don't know. But anyway, before this show was made, the comics came first in 1984 by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. The comics were dark, gritty, violent, also black and white, which was aimed for adults, while the animated series was way different, aimed for young viewers. It also led to a line of action figures by Playmates. Now about the show. It was aired in December of 1987, produced by Fred Wolf, lasting for 10 seasons. You heard me. 10 freaking seasons, with a total of 193 episodes. As the show became popular, our beloved green teens were seen in cereals, canned pastas, Hostess pies, movies, video games, etc. Back in my childhood, I loved Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Hell, I couldn't get enough of them. It's one of my favorite franchises. I used to have Ninja Turtles t-shirts, backpack, lunchbox, a few figures, video games, you name it. And no, I did not read the original comics, but I did look at the Archie comics when I was 9 back in 1993. Now let's get that out of the way and on with the show, folks. I'm going to talk about not only the first season, I'm also going to talk about that abysmal Season 2 and the last 3 seasons. So let us take a look at Season 1 first, folks. Turtle Tracks. The episode begins with a gang of street punks causing havoc in the streets. April O'Neil does a report on the situation and the robberies of 3 scientific companies. Ah, that April. Such a divine cutie pie. Sorry folks, got a little carried off. Anyway, the punks then target April and chase her to the sewers. She was about to be brutally raped, that is until you-know-who show up and beat the shit out of those crooked punks. That's right, our beloved boys in green.
Bingo! Yeah, we're dealing with a real mind here.
April shockingly meets the turtles and fainted. She then wakes up, finding herself in the turtles' lair, also meets a rat who we all know as Splinter. He tells her the story about a man named Hamato Yoshi from Japan who was banished from the Foot Clan when a student named Oroku Saki framed him by planting a knife for planning on killing the sensei. Yoshi fled to America, penniless, now lives in the sewers with the rats. Then, 4 turtles came down the drain until one day the turtles got covered in mutagen.
Bingo! You get the feeling all this is starting to lead somewhere?
This caused the turtles to become more human-like and Yoshi became Splinter.
You got a mind like a steel trap!
He then names them after his favorite Renaissance painters and trains them in the art of ninjutsu. Donatello, the genius, armed with a bow staff. Raphael, the wise guy, wielding his sais. Leonardo, the serious katana-slashing leader. And last but not least, the party-loving reptile we all known to love, Michelangelo, master of the whirling nunchucks. Thus they became
the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Enough said. April being spectacled to the turtles thinking they committed those robberies. The turtles want to prove they're innocent and help her find the real thieves. The punks then inform Mr. Shredder, who was furious that they got their asses handed to 4 turtles. The turtles along with April check around to look for evidence. Donatello finds a book of matches that says Ninja Pizzeria, a place where they can get some pizza.
Right on!
April then gives the turtles disguises so that they won't be recognized and drawing attention. The TMNT go for pizza at the Ninja Pizzeria while April investigates the Manhattan Security Services till she's spotted the Foot Clan disguised as security. April was about to send the camera crew until she ended up being captured, and it's up to the Turtle Teens to battle the Foot Clan, who are actually robots, rescue April, and escape from the flooded building. I must say, this episode was a great way to start the series with really good action fight scenes and humor as well, such as Donatello breaking the 4th wall.
I love saying lines like that.
However, I did spotted mistakes in this episode, such as Donatello speaking in Raphael's voice.
Wait a minute, did I miss something here? Ain't you up on current events, lady? We just saved your life!
It's also funny that Rob Paulsen is going to voice Donatello in the 2012 animated series on Nickelodeon. Also, you can see the colors of Raphael and Michelangelo's headband, wristband, and elbow pads swapped, and on the rooftop, another Leonardo just somehow came out of nowhere. This episode features the appearance of April O'Neil, the Street Punks, the Foot Soldiers, Shredder, the Channel 6 Building, Bern Thompson, and Vernon Fenwick. Enter the Shredder. The Turtles are in search of the Technodrome, which is a humongous fortress mobile with a large eyeball on top. Shredder then starts having a bitch fit saying his mighty foot soldiers have been defeated, until he decides to visit Krang, who is an interdimensional octopus alien-like brain from Dimension X, and tells Shredder to give him
a body which you have failed to provide for me.
Exactly. However, Shredder wouldn't trust Krang once he had a body and tells him how to defeat the Turtles. Thanks to Krang, Shredder decided to have 2 mutants of his own by stealing 2 animals from the city zoo, sending robot unicycles to the surface. He then chooses 2 volunteers for an experiment. Splinter went to find the Technodrome on his own, but ends up getting captured. The Turtles then rescue him from inside the Technodrome as they go through deadly but dangerous obstacles, fighting killer robots and save Splinter only to encounter
Oroku Saki. But you may call me the Shredder.
He then tells his story of how he made our Cowabunga compadres and wants them to join the Honorable Foot Clan. He brings out 2 new mutants, Bebop and Rocksteady, who clumsily crash into each other. The Turtles then save Splinter and battle Bebop and Rocksteady. I have to say, this was a great episode with hardcore action fight scenes, a suspenseful scene with the Turtles about to be crushed by the moving walls of death, first look at Krang who looks menacing, scary looking, and just evil. But I love the details on him, especially his long tentacles. I love the shiny details on Shredder in this episode, plus there were some funny moments.
Of course, you may have a little trouble getting a date on Saturday night.
My favorite line is where Raphael tells Shredder,
Does the phrase, go suck a lemon, hold any meaning for you?
that is one of my favorite lines. There was also a feature in this episode is where Leonardo jumps in the air and attacks the killer machine while the screen goes black with slash effects like you see in Japanese animation. Well yeah, because the show was considered anime since it was animated by Toei in Japan overseas. However, it never explains who made the mutagen. Was it Shredder, Krang, or possibly both? It could be Krang because he helped Shredder made the mutagen. Not only that, it never tells how Krang met Shredder and allied with him. This episode features the appearance of the Technodrome, Krang, Bebop, and Rocksteady, who used to be humans, now they're mutants, and the only appearance of the robot unicycles, who are also seen in the Ninja Turtle video games. A thing about rats. The storyline is about an inventor named Baxter Stockman being Shredder's slave by building the Mousers when it was Shredder's intentions, not Stockman, who made the original, and Shredder himself made the replicas. What's also funny about this episode is that Bebop and Rocksteady aren't seen very much. Huh, that's a surprise. At least they acted pretty damn serious. There's a scene with a Mouser chomping on a rat with one bite, which is kinda disturbing for a kids show, folks. I also notice a scene where Krang saves Michelangelo and never explain how the hell he got there. Plus, there was a feature where Shredder is shrouded in blue like all characters of Japanese anime. Overall, this episode is still a watch, but it kinda lacks. At least it has the appearance of Baxter Stockman, the turtle-seeking cycle, and the only appearance of the Mousers, those flying robot insects, and the transport elevator which were seen in the Ninja Turtles video games. By the way, in the comics Baxter was African American, in this show he was white so that it wouldn't contain racism. Hot-rodding teenagers from Dimension X. This is where we see new characters featured, such as these teenagers called Neutrinos, Zack, Kala, and Dask, who are a bunch of
Gang of juvenile delinquents from Dimension X. They're a threat to everything we stand for.
They hate war.
They refuse to join any army. And what's worse, they encourage people to have fun.
and 2 Stone Warriors, Granitor and General Trag were also introduced. This episode not only had plenty of action, but also funny moments. I love how Rocksteady and Bebop acted in this episode.
Hey, what do you mean? You just give us another shot, pal, and you'll see some squished turtles.
Especially how colorful the episode itself looks, and ends with a cliffhanger with Shredder and Krang who plan on conquering Earth. Plus it features the appearance of the Neutrinos, the Stone Warriors, the Turtle Van made from Baxter's old van, the Techno Rover, and the only appearance of the Weather Machine and Granitor, who at least we saw them in the video games. Shredder is splintered. This is it, Turtle fans, the finale of this season. Shredder has built a device called the Retro Mutagen Gun that can undo mutations. the only device that can restore Splinter into his human form, and wants the Turtles to come get it. This episode has one of the best stuff, such as Rocksteady and Bebop clobbering the Turtles and Splinter, but were brilliantly defeated when Raphael poured a truckload of cement on them. Also, Rocksteady gets hit by a traffic light, which was funny. After whining and bitching at Shredder, Krang finally gets what he wants.
My new body!
Mr. Saki, if you will. And also installs the molecular amplification unit. The music in this scene fits very well when Krang awakens in his new body a la Frankenstein.
It's alive! It's alive!
There is also a fight scene with the Turtles and the Foot Clan outside the Technodrome, which was pretty good. The confrontation between Splinter and Shredder was just talk instead of fighting. I mean, couldn't they just start fighting instead of talking?
Less talk, more action.
Plus Krang going on a rampage while Raphael mentions Godzilla.
Oh, where's Godzilla when you really need him?
I love the details on the gears and joints inside Krang's android body. Japanese artists. One of the most famous quotes in this series with Shredder using the retro mutagen. Here it comes.
Far from it. Tonight I dine on turtle soup.
Which was also used in the 1989 arcade. Next, Splinter blows his freaking chance to be human again by simply throwing his walking staff at the retro mutagen gun, thus destroying it. I was thinking they could have had Splinter throw his staff at Shredder, knocking him out, or just simply tackle him. That's what they could have done using one of those two.
Ah, well. Perhaps it is my karma to live my life as a rat.
Yes, it did show how much I care for the Turtles. But at least it ends with the Technodrome getting sucked into Dimension X thanks to Donatello by simply reversing the portal. And I gotta say, that was a great ending, very climactic. This episode features the appearance of the Turtle Blimp, Turtle Com, Krang's android body, and the Rock Soldiers. Well, there you have it, all 5 episodes of Season 1 I talked about, even though it was way too short. Stay tuned as I talk about, Season 2.